hello YouTube, this is Afroman from Team Island MTG, and I'm going to start out with a story before I go into the next deck tech. This was the first deck that I had ever run in the game of Magic the Gathering ever. My best friends of my early high school career were kind enough to introduce me to the game, and so that was pretty dope. So I took that deck because I've kept it this whole time. It was a Gruul bloodrush deck in Standard right before M15 dropped, so I played that for a little bit before I quit and came back in cons. I guess I just pretty much missed M15, but and all of Theros, but whatever, or all of that whole block. All right, let's go ahead and get into this deck, though. This is another one of those toolbox decks that I will be updating with $20 every week. This deck is actually going to end up becoming Living End, I'm most likely sure. You'll see why in a minute. Let's go ahead and get into this land base. Alrighty, sorry about that. We've got 2 Transmorphic Expanse and 2 Evolving Wilds to find our basics. We have 4 Guild Gates. These will probably become Rootbound Crag, and the fetches for basics will become probably Wooded Foothills. We've got 2 Transguild Promenade because we like tapping for every color. We have 6 Mountains, and we have 6 Forests. We're going to start out at the top of the curve at 4. Now, you're going to see as we go through that the curve actually does not top out literally at 4, but I will be very, very, very disappointed if I have to cast a spell for more than 4 mana. We've got 2 Thunderbreak and 2 Surrock. Thunderbreak is really good because he costs life to remove. He's a 4/4, or she, it's a dragon. I don't know what gender it is. And, you know, it flies. And it's a great Bloodrush target, and it triggers Surrock's Formidable ability. Surrock, Formidable ability, is pretty much the only reason he's in the deck. And he's also pretty great for 4 mana. And he fits in the colors. We've got Xenagos. His +1 helps us Bloodrush for free. His 0 drops guys, which is pretty great. And his ultimate is just freaking fantastic. So that's pretty much the top of our curve at 4 mana. We've got Feral Animist in a 2-of because of his ability. You can tap 3 to give it a buff where X is its power. So you blood rush him with a Slaughterhorn. He's a 5/3 or 5/3 at that point. Tap 3, he's a 10/3. Tap 3, he's a 23. That's lethal. For 7 mana, that's lethal. A Fanatic of Xenagos. We don't really care for this card that much. He will probably be one of the first things that we switch out. He gets boarded out in a lot of games, but when he is in the game, he is just a pretty big body. He's already got Trample, so if something doesn't get Trample from a Blood Rush, we're okay, because he does it himself. Now we hit the 2 drops. We've got 2 Explore, because hitting the extra land is nice and we like the card draw. Ground Assault. We only run 2 in the main board because we don't know for a fact that another player is just going to run enough creatures to make that really worth it. Gore Clan Rampager is in the deck at the 2 spot because we've got a play set and we Blood Rush him. We're going to run this card for its Blood Rush cost every single game. We don't even care about casting this as a creature, so the 4/4 trample buff is a 2-drop. We're going to run 4 Zerta Druid because he's Elvish Mystic, but he's racy enough to leave out a nipple, so you got to tap him for an extra red. And when you tap him for land, you're doing damage. So, like, if he's on the board, you tap him for damage regardless of if you're using the mana. So that's a really good thing. We'll run 4 of that guy. Then we've got Become Immense, which starts off our 1-drops because if we have played the game like we're supposed to, we usually want a Lightning Bolt turn 1. So that's essentially 2 mana for Delve. You drop a Forest, tap 2 Zerta. That's 4 mana for Delve, or including Delve. Next turn, you play Explore, drop a land. You would hit 2 lands. Turn 4, you're hitting Become Immense, tapping it for 1 land. So we're going to leave it in the 1-drop spot just for the video is concerned. We have 4 Rubble Belt Maka. That's a blood rush for 1 red mana that gives you +3/+3. So, you know, that's pretty dope. Slaughterhorn, like I mentioned earlier, gives you +3/+2 for a green mana. Now we got to have a couple more creatures to hit with Blood Rush. They can't all be sacrificed or discarded out of our hand for buff. So we have 2 Lightning Berserker. I like Lightning Berserker because it has the first ability where it gets +1/+0. Can't really be mad about that. And then we have Swift Spear, haste prowess. She's already used in Modern, so it's not that big of a deal. We have a playset of Lightning Bolts to round out our main board. There will be a couple gameplay videos uploaded. I don't know when, but they will be between the white, blue, and green-red decks. Like I said, this one's probably going to become Living End because we want to take all of our Blood Rush guys, throw those guys back on the board, and, you know, just wreak havoc. Let's go ahead and get into our sideboard. We're going to start off with Titanic Growth, which gives you +4/+4 for 2 mana, and Swell of Growth. I'm running the 2 separate ones instead of just 2 of one of each because, or like 2 of one certain spell, because we like the extra land, so we like Swell of Growth, but we don't have enough mana, because we only run 22 land, we don't have enough mana for us to care enough to just run Swell of Growth on the sideboard, so we have a Titanic Growth just for variety. We have Naturalize because sometimes our cards get exiled, and so that's a thing. So we need to be able to make sure all of our guys are able to, or even just one of them, so we can swing it and then just pile on the Blood Rush. That's one of the problems with just pumping up one guy a ton, is that if, like, in the blue-white deck, I have a copy of Unsummon. If someone were to swing at me with a 30/30 with Trample, and I have no guys, I'm going to unsummon it and put it back in their hand. They lose all that. They wasted the guys. So that's another reason why Living End is important, because it really gives our Blood Rush guys value, regardless of if they actually pan out and get to attack. I've got 2 more Ground Assault, just in case we run against another aggro deck. We want to be able to chip in for at least 2 at those creatures. We've got Burst of Strength, which is really good. You know, buffs are always good. Then we've got 2 Flame Slash, because removal is nice. Sorry. Removal is nice, so we need that buff. Then we've got Predator's Rapport, which is really, really good if we're getting blown out, because let's say we have a 4/4. You gain 8 life off that 4/4. That's pretty great. Let's say you Blood Rush right before you gain life off of that 4/4. Let's say you hit it with another Gore Clan Rampage. You're using 5 land that turn to gain 16 life. 2 for the Blood Rush, 3 for the Predator's Rapport, and you're getting in for damage, so that's pretty great. Giant, it's almost like Lifelink, but double. Giant Growth, just another small pump spell. Panic Attack, we're only going to run 1 because we can win in 1 turn. Not like turn 1, but we can pump a bunch of small guys in for lethal, so all we've really got to do is just keep them from blocking for a turn. Gruul War Chant, I don't really care for this card that much, so like it was okay when the deck was in Standard, but I don't really care for it now on the Modern scene for 4 mana, and I'm only attacking with 2 or 3 creatures at the most at a time, so I'm not really worried about that. We're going to run 1 copy of Pit Fight. Once this gets turned into Living End, I'm probably going to increase the Pit Fights. I don't know, I might not be able to run Pit Fights because of the way Cascade works, but it should be okay. I like it because it's a 2 mana fight spell, and we've got plenty of things to make it better. Then we've got Scab Clan Charger, just a toughness boost on our Blood Rush. That was the green-red toolbox deck tech with a heartfelt story from the Afro Man, from the channel with the decks. So we're going, this is just going to be like a little news update at the end of the video. We're going to put $20 into each deck every week to make them better. There will be a video on it every week. We're going to get those decks together. Like I said, this one's probably going to be Jund Living End, or it might just stay green-red aggro. It depends on how it competes with other decks. Then we've got Blue-White Tempo, which might either become Jeskai or Bant. I don't know yet. I don't want to leave it 2 colors because the way that everybody's running a tri-color deck, there's not enough protection. Or like we like to have the 3rd colors options. So it could end up being Esper Control, but that would completely change the deck. We want to try and keep it to where its profile is still the same. We might do another deck like this in Standard, and that'll probably wait for rotation to happen, though. But we might actually just do a little toolbox deck. I'll buy a fat pack, I'll crack it on the channel, and all that jazz. But, yeah, this was Team Island MTG. Afro Man, like, comment, subscribe for more. And just show your friends, let them know what's up. This is the channel to watch. Have a great day.